So I am so thrilled to hand over the mic to Cheryl Paul, who has done an amazing job of bringing people together for this conference. At In just a couple of minutes, she's going to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing here, what the conference is, and then she'll be introducing some of the panelists that will be speaking on this first topic. Cheryl.
Well, hello. Um, I wanted to let you know that I had a wonderful crew of people that I worked with these 5.5 months to bring the conference to fruition. We were charged with developing a fully online conference that would be free and able to be seen by anybody anywhere. So in 5.5 months, we had to come up with a concept, we had to come up with a title, we had to come up with focus, and we had to come up with panelists. And I think we have done a really good job of doing all of that. One of the keys to what themes that we were trying to develop was a theme centered around connections. We wanted to be able to have people with aphasia and their families connect with other people who have aphasia and their families. Um, we especially wanted to address those people who live in what could be called aphasia deserts. Those are places in the country where there is no discernible uh, additional activity or additional service available for people with aphasia once their therapy sessions have ended. So we thought we would talk a bit about aphasia groups because many people who, after they finish their prescribed therapy, they are left with, what do I do now? And so many people opt to join aphasia groups. So we're going to talk about aphasia groups, some of the benefits of aphasia groups for people with aphasia, and some of the benefits of aphasia groups for family members. And what I wanted to do is start off with, I'm going to try to put this information in the chat. I wanted to start off talking about facilitation and aphasia with aphasia groups. We are going to start off talking about or talking, well, Trish Hambridge is going to be one of our speakers, and she's here. So is Philip Oxendine. Trish is the president and of Aphasia, National Aphasia Synergy, which is a nonprofit organization for people with aphasia. Phil Oxendine is, people know him as Aphasia Phil. He is he is an aphasia ambassador for the NAA, and he's also a podcaster known as Aphasia Phil. And we have Becky Reese, who is with us. She is a board member for the Aphasia Community Center in Sarasota, and her husband has aphasia. We still have a couple of other people, Carol McLaughlin and Misty Doherty, who we're kind of still waiting for, and they are members of a fairly new aphasia group at the Maryville University in St. Louis, which is a university based. So we want to talk about several different kinds of groups with our panelists. If we can have them come up, and um, we'll start with the first. We wanted to talk about, I was online last night looking for someone that could be considered the godmother of aphasia groups, because that's how I view um, uh, our, our esteemed Roberta Elman. We lost her earlier this year. She is, I put some information in the chat. She founded the first nonprofit aphasia center in the United States, which is still going strong, and that is the Aphasia Center of California. She was one of the original authors working on the LPAA concept for providing services to people with aphasia. And that's the life participation approach to aphasia. And a lot of people know about that. And she also conducted some groundbreaking therapy, clinical trials on aphasia therapy. And a lot of what you read about aphasia groups, you will read because of Roberta Ellman. A wonderful person and our guide. If you've ever been to an aphasia book club, thank Roberta Ellman because she was the one who started all of that. Fortunately for us, Trish Hambridge had a chance to talk to Roberta before she passed on, and they talked about groups and group therapy. So we're going to listen to that discussion, and then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. Okay, if you can pull
Wonderful.
that up. Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. And I did want to mention if any of the panelists for this connection section are in the attendees, please use your panelist link. And we'll keep reaching out to you, but sounds like a great group, and all the other panelists can mute themselves. And Trish, I'm going to show your video now and look forward to hearing your commentary after.
What is a skilled facilitator?
Yeah. I don't want to be too controversial, but I'll be a little bit controversial maybe.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Hey, why not?
So I think facilitating a group of people just in general, it's not easy, right? For any group. You could have a group of, you fill in the blank. I'm not talking about people, even people with aphasia, right? So anyone, a group of people is very complicated. People are complicated. And to facilitate a group well takes skill. You can't expect that someone should just sit down with a group with no experience or training or understanding about how the group dynamics work in any group. And I see some of that going on, actually. And I think in some ways Zoom may have made that more possible for just anyone to sit down with a group of people. And then when you add aphasia to the group where people are having language challenges, that facilitator, not only do they have to know about how to facilitate a group, but they should really know a lot about aphasia and about how to help someone with this kind of communication challenge or that kind of communication challenge, or how to help someone who, unless they get some support, they're just going to sit there and not say anything or not communicate.
Yeah.
So it takes skill, and it takes some experience. And sometimes there are some people who probably, just in general, probably they should never be doing it. They should be never facilitating a group. They just don't have that skill set. It's just like if you put me doing some type of task I'm not good at, I stay away from it, right? Have to be, it's so much going on in a group. Being aware of the nonverbal, all the different signals, and keeping everyone engaged. So I hope that as speech pathologists are doing group, or even people, not speech pathologists, people with aphasia doing other aphasia groups, they need to have some skills. Otherwise, I worry that there could be people in the group who feel bad when they leave the group because they're not able to communicate things that they're thinking about and really want to communicate. So they just kind of sit there and feel like they are not being, helped in the way they could be.
Yeah. Toronto, whatever.
Toronto, the Aphasia Institute.
Yeah, is the.
So they're really good. Oh, sorry, I talked over you.
The
CPT.
Yeah.
So that's partner training, which is a little different, right? So that's really important. I mean, it's good for speech pathologists to know that too, for sure, right? All the supports. So yes, supported conversation should be in your toolkit if you're a speech pathologist, for sure. But then there's all the group stuff. So even if you're really good with supported conversation, you might do really well one-on-one. Like if I'm a speech therapist, I could, but I never did any groups. I could be really good one-on-one with someone. But then now you have 6 or 7 people around the table. And if I don't understand group process and group dynamics and what kinds of techniques to use, then even if I know the supported conversation, that may not make me a good group facilitator.
Yeah, but it's like the key is
it's a starting point for sure. Yeah, you need both, right?
Yeah.
You need the supported conversation and you need to know about groups. The other thing about groups, so this is now back to any kind of group, not just aphasia groups. When you get more than 10 people or more, it really, the dynamics, this has been researched, right? The dynamics change. So it's more like a classroom.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a teacher and a bunch of people, and you kind of do this thing, and it's really hard to have what we call crosstalk, right? Where you ask a question to someone else and then they follow up, and maybe the facilitator kind of sits back. So the size of the group is important too. Even a good group facilitator, if you have 20 people or 30 people, then you cannot do the same type of group. That doesn't mean you couldn't do some other kind of thing, but when it comes to a communication group, I don't think that's a good fit.
Yeah, it's true. I concur.
You concur. Yeah, well, and you see it from the other side as someone with aphasia, right? Because you've been in, I can't even guess how many different groups you've been in. Hundreds.
Yeah. But I think 5 or 10 is
less than 10. Yeah. 5 to 9, somewhere in there. That's kind of the sweet spot, I think.
Yeah.
But you still need to have a good facilitator. And people with aphasia, there are some amazing facilitators with people with aphasia who are doing groups. But there, all different kinds of groups. I love what I've gotten to see over the last 26, 27 years is how many different programs there are now, how many different aphasia centers, aphasia national. None of that was there when we started out. So it's nice to see how everyone's doing it a little differently and all the choices people have.
Cheryl, you're muted.
Story of my life. So Trish, how did you have that opportunity to talk to Roberta? What
call him, hey man.
You've always been so shy about those kinds of things.
But small, but I think is important.
Mm-hmm. And talking about group facilitators is very important. I know, Becky, that you facilitate groups for the Aphasia Community Center in Sarasota. Did you have any special experiences or skills or training to do that?
Well, I was a teacher for 35 years. So my teaching background kicked in as to what you do in a group. But exactly what they both just said, a group over 10 gets to be a totally different dynamic. So that sweet spot of 5 to 10 is the perfect thing. And it's knowing how to facilitate and manage a group, and then also knowing those expectations of what a people with aphasia, how to do the class, how to teach the class to them. So those two important ingredients is what you need.
I want to talk a little bit more about your particular experiences with group, but Phil, I know you've been to some groups and you've attended groups, but that was how was that for you, being a member of groups?
Groups were key. In the beginning, I didn't know, of course, what Aphasia was at all. And the first group I was in was Ali from Graphic.
Lingraphica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of groups too already. There's ARC, and of course, the National Aphasia Association, there are groups there too. And I am a Aphasia group. I like those groups, but for me, it was a stepping stone to do something different. That's why I have my own video on YouTube, because who's better to talk about what's aphasia, unless you have aphasia, than ourselves.
So,
Yeah.
so your experiences with group gave you the confidence,
Oh yeah,
maybe
by
to try
far.
something new, something a little bit different. So you
Yeah.
started doing podcasts, I
Yeah,
know,
on YouTube first. Yep.
and YouTube. Hmm. And Trish, I know you've been in a number of groups because I've been in a number of them with you. And you recently started your own nonprofit, maybe as a result of your experiences in group. Hi, Carol.
Sorry,
No
me
problem.
and technology not friends.
Okay. All right. But we were talking to Trish about her experiences and how that helped you with your formulation of a nonprofit.
Yeah, but I hate groups. I so but the in California, I the go in, oh, I want a group in the therapy place. And so, okay, and waiting and converse, and the speech therapist tags, so like is good. I mean, so pick.
So the speech therapist helped you find a group
No, like
initially?
is like new group.
Oh, starting a new group.
Yeah, so like I want a group.
You want your own group, huh?
Yeah.
You said you hate groups. That's kind of strong. What do you mean by that?
Well, I can't speak well,
Hmm.
so I decided to. It's hard for groups.
It's hard, and especially if you do have problems expressing yourself and talking. It's hard to think about sitting in with a group of other people when you know that you are not speaking the way you did before. But you do it anyway, and you did it anyway. Why did you keep doing it? What was it about the group that you found acceptable and helpful?
I want to the the communicate, like I need help, right? So
Mhm. And I've known you for several years, Trish, and I've never once had to think about or wonder what you wanted and what you meant. You are very good at facilitating your own conversation, and you use whatever devices, your phone or whatever, to help you, even in group. Okay. Carol is just joining us, and she is in a group with me at Maryville University, and it's a university group, a university student-led group. What led you to the group that we are in together, Carol? You're muted. You had the same thing I had. We still can't hear you. There you go. Good.
Technology is not my friend. I had seizures, so the doctor said you need to go to speech and two other therapies, and I had a great speech therapist, and
Mhm.
she said, "You're motivated, so I will find a place." She said, "No, very little that she's people come
You're
across
mhm.
that they're so just frustrated, so they don't want to talk." And she's like, you have to, you're doing it. And she had other people say, "See, she went from no talking, and now she won't shut up."
Be careful what you ask for, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Phil, I noticed you were giving enthusiastic head nodding to what Carol was saying. What were you in agreement on? Phil,
Oh, I'm
you
just
were
saying.
nodding.
Well, I understand that you have to be able to talk. All my interests is like this. You have to be able to talk. There's no way around it.
Mhm.
And it sucks. You had to do it. For me, I like to talk anyway, but everyone's not the way to do that. But you have a language problem. There's no way around it. You have to talk.
Okay,
Good.
Phil, do you mean that you have to talk or do you have to communicate? They're not necessarily the same thing, right?
For me, communicating is talking.
Okay, and that's great for you. But I
Yeah.
think Becky, how about Rick? Your husband has aphasia. Does he talk to communicate, or how does he communicate?
So Rick uses an AAC device to communicate because he has severe apraxia along with the aphasia. So he uses that, but he also does not have any auditory comprehension. So he doesn't.
Oh,
So
go
he
ahead.
doesn't understand anything that we're saying. So his way of communicating is writing. So he has his whiteboard out, and everybody has whiteboards, and they're right, or sign language.
Mhm.
But he will communicate, and just like Trish, will let you know when he wants to tell you something or be part of the conversation.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of visual. He's got to be able to see it, and that's how he communicates. Big, long, lengthy discussions are much harder, just like for anybody. Short,
Mhm.
simple things, knowing what the topic is, that's much easier for him.
So, how does his participation in group um, work? Since he's not talking, he's using a device. How does he communicate in a group?
He, first of all, he sits next to the facilitator, or we do have volunteers. So he does have a one-on-one person in case he needs a little bit more assistance, that kind of thing. Well, he will answer the questions either by writing or by touching the buttons on his AAC device. And the instructor and the volunteers are using whiteboards to write the questions or to draw pictures, or we're using an overhead TV that's projecting things. So everybody in the group is getting it visually and auditory.
So you're saying that using his device, Rick is a competent and successful communicator.
I would say definitely so.
Mm-hmm. And I know Trish is because I've communicated with her using her devices. You're going to say something, Trish?
I'm like writing the iPhone, and I want that. So it's like helpful for, oh.
Mm-hmm. And the other benefit, I think, of having people in group communicating with different forms is that others see it. And those who may not be verbal or have a lot of trouble verbalizing might see a new method for communication that they can incorporate into their own systems. Carol, I know the group that we're in at Maryville is relatively new. I think we're just maybe a little over a year old.
Yep.
And yours is a university training program. How is it
Yes.
for you working with students and you get a new crop of students every 3 months. How is that working for you?
Most of the time it's great. I go frustrated when the students will go answer, or like it takes me time for some of this stuff to get the word. I'm like, I know it, give me a minute, and they'll get it fast, but other than that, but I'm getting better. Some are still in a different stage where I'm still frustrated, but other people, not
Well,
me,
I'm
not,
the instructor, and that
I'm gonna do
frustrates
it, I'm
me
gonna
too.
do it.
When they jump in too soon,
Good.
it's like, but we can't
Yeah.
strangle people. Um, but
Or
but
the tones that they say, as though
mhm,
I'm an idiot or I'm a little kid. That
mhm,
frustrates me when anybody does that.
yeah,
Like, I'm still 50 years old. I'm not an idiot. I'm not 5.
mhm. And believe me, they get notes about that when it happens as well. Um,
Thank you.
you come to group. It's totally virtual. Why don't you go to an in-person group? What are some of the barriers for you? Carol, I think you froze. Yeah.
Well, here,
Okay. Trish, why don't you take that question then?
so one is long, like the driving and the tired and confusing and the parking, right? So this is no problem.
Mhm,
And the sometimes is the driving is not available, so is not good. So Zoom is perfect.
mhm,
And the tired is the low talking.
mm.
So
Yes, when you're more tired, it's harder to for you to talk and to say what you want to say.
yeah.
That fatigue. Carol, you're back again, and we were talking about what are some of the barriers for you to going to an in-person group. Do you drive?
I can't drive.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, every time I get close and I have another seizure. So getting there is the biggest. Getting there. Um, or yeah, pretty much that's the biggest. I could figure out everything else if I could drive or somebody take me to it, or when I had the one class or therapy place, I had somebody could watch my son, but now I don't have somebody to watch my son, so I can't go to to therapy because they won't let him sit there on the on the ground and just do his school books.
Mm-hmm. So for you,
So
a virtual group works because you don't have to try to get there. So that's good. Josh, I think you're a little bit early,
yeah.
but you can. But it's one of those for you. It's easier for you to participate when you are when you are um, able to do and join a virtual group. Okay. Oh, now we
Yeah.
lost Becky. Oh, Becky's still there. So how about we were talking about the virtual groups and how easy it is for some people to join virtual groups, and it's a lot easier and a lot easier to get there and a lot less trouble. We also, I think, there is a lot to be said for the in-person groups as well as the online groups. And I have said before, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it in front of people too, that that COVID was horrible for everybody, but it was a boon for people with aphasia because people were able to go to virtual groups and virtual sessions when they didn't have that available before. A lot more groups cropped up in the wake of COVID. And as Trish and Roberta, Dr. Elman were talking about, not everyone was made to facilitate a group. Some people don't have that particular skill set, but those who do, it's been wonderful. Horrible as COVID was and devastating as it was for many people, it helped out a lot of people who have aphasia. One of the people that I wanted to have here, but she is on vacation, so she did do a video for us, and her name is Cheryl Dow Richards, and I'm going to put some information about her in the chat. I've got a whole lot of chat stuff that I can do. And she is an executive, a founder of Aphasia Recovery Connection, which is a nonprofit organization supporting families and people dealing with aphasia. And one of their goals, of course, is to end the isolation that people feel with aphasia. ARC has an online community on Facebook of 22,000 people. And so they also provide virtual groups. And so Carol Dow Richards has a video that she did for us, and we're going to watch that and talk about it on the other side, talk about virtual versus in-house sessions. If we can have that video.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Carol Dow Richards with the nonprofit Aphasia Recovery Connection. Today we're talking about virtual programming, a topic close to my own heart. First, know that you are not alone. There are over 2 million people with aphasia just here in the United States. Why not connect with them? ARC has been doing virtual programming for 12 years. We've made a big impact and reached thousands. We've created meaningful connections. And Zoom calls can end the isolation that you and I know aphasia brings. There's social connection. It offers many topics. Many nonprofits like ARC offer these sessions for free. It allows access from anywhere. Maybe you live in a rural area, or disabilities make it tough to get out, or there's a transportation issue. Virtual programs remove that barrier. You can participate right from home, and it's important to remember, what will you focus on when you connect with us? Focus on connection, not perfection. Connection. Because your peers understand. You might just listen in, or you might use gestures, or pictures, or a whiteboard, or use the chat feature available on Zoom. So give it a try it. You might be thinking, oh, what if I can't keep up? You know what? The first time is the hardest, but it's important that you get out of your comfort zone. So try it. You'll meet others. You'll end the isolation. You might build your confidence, and you might find some hope on the journey. So this is a photo of my own son. So I get aphasia. Like, we really get it. We've lived this. And he had a stroke at age 10. But whether you have aphasia from age 10 or 40 or 80, we all share something. The frustration of aphasia and the incredible isolation that you and I know aphasia brings. I want to close with a quote that has helped my son. And this is his quote. There is no stop sign on the road to recovery. That's why he wanted to start ARC, to help end the isolation. And you know what? Virtual programming helped him stay motivated. It helped him find hope. It helped him meet others. It was so important for David to keep moving forward. And it's important for you too. So I'm so glad that you have decided to join this program today, Speaking Out. And keep moving forward, my friend. I know it isn't easy. Let's face it, aphasia impacted your language. But you and I both know firsthand, aphasia impacted your life in countless ways. So join others on the journey. I often close my Zoom calls with this. Just like a muscle, if I want to make this stronger, what do I have to do? I have to use it to improve it. Same thing for your aphasia. You have to use it to improve it. So why not try a Zoom call? Join us. Bye-bye.
One of the things that we want to always remember is that there are a number of organizations that provide online groups and in-person groups, and you can find a directory pretty much on the NAA website for the university programs, I believe, as well as other programs that provide services. What would you say about online groups versus in-person groups for those of you who have done both? What is best for you? Phil, did you do both?
I do both.
Mm-hmm.
For my speech pathologist, it was in person. All my groups is on Zoom because you talk to a lot of people. And because where I live in Ohio, not a lot of stuff in there anyway. So my mom and me, virtual connections, and my YouTube page. And also what I do now, I've got 3 or 4 people who have their own channels on YouTube. Because what I would like to do as a community, talk about stroke and aphasia, and have your channel talk about whatever you want to talk about. Because I found out in YouTube in general, there's not a space. In stroke, there's a little space, but for aphasia, there's nothing to talk about aphasia at all. And so the channels, I have other people's own channels. So that way we talk together, ideas, and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Because again, everyone is hard to say that we know aphasia, we know the best.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have videos every week, but I want everybody to have their own channel.
So on your channel, you interview and talk to people who have aphasia. Trish, I know you go to both in person and online. Which one works better for you? Or does it depend on the session?
I want to real life
Mm-hmm.
and hug, right?
Yeah. And we can pet your dog when he comes in. She comes in.
Yeah, he's sleeping now.
Okay. Becky, I know that the Aphasia Center in Sarasota has a lot of online sessions, but you're transitioning back to in-person. What sparked that move?
After COVID, we decided to really focus on the in-person. We wanted to end that isolation. We felt it was so important for not only the person with aphasia, but also those care partners, because they are bringing the members to the center and they needed to be with other people and see other people. We needed to focus on getting back together. We still have one class that is a online platform, and that's because we attracted people from out of town and we did not want to cut them off. But for those of us that live in our local area, we have in-person classes, 17 classes a month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what kind of classes do you have? I know you have a reading group.
Right.
Right.
So, like I said, we have 17 classes a month. They're an hour and 15 minutes long. And some classes run twice a month. That would be writing, math, reading, art, and music. And then our other classes that are once a month are yoga meditation, conversation, computer apps, sports chat, games. And then I have an AAC device training and conversation class.
That sounds great. I have been in the books and looking a bit and found some benefits per research, benefits of um, benefits of aphasia groups to people who have aphasia, and benefits for caregivers. So some of the benefits, and we can kind of talk about this a little bit, improving your communication skills. For those of you who have been involved with group, did that happen for you? Was the group helpful in helping you to improve your level of communication or the frequency of communication?
I think it's like the study shows is improving.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's one of the improvements. One, it says that it increases confidence and it gives you a safe place to practice. In your groups, nobody's rushing you. You have a chance to say what you need to say and take the time you need to say it. Is that a benefit that that helped you at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Reducing the isolation. In your aphasia groups, I'm sure, especially the in-person groups, you wind up doing more than just have the session. I know in our groups, I think the one in Sarasota, you have a monthly dinner that you all go to, and we do a monthly lunch where people who have aphasia meet at a restaurant and kind of get to know each other, and you do kind of build those kinds of friendships.
Cheryl,
Yes.
if I could add, members of our group, they went out on their own and they said, let's just meet. And so they put it on our monthly calendar and they discuss a place they want to meet each month that has music, and they tell everybody to come, and
I
it's
love that.
totally organic, totally
Mhm.
organic.
And
Yeah.
it's led by the people with
Yeah.
aphasia in your group, and that's
They-
wonderful.
They put it on the calendar and make sure everybody sees it.
Hmm. So it does help with emotional well-being, and it helps people who have aphasia to know that they are not alone with their aphasia, that there are other people who have some of the same kinds of issues with communication. Uh, and I also love the fact in an aphasia group that you have people with aphasia helping other people with aphasia with their communication, with the frustration, giving them some solutions that you don't often get when you're by yourself. Sometimes you can think, I'm the only one that this is happening to, but you are not. You are not by a long shot. It helps sometimes in a group when you're feeling depressed to talk to other people who have been there, who have felt that same isolation and depression. A group can help, it says, increase your hope and resilience when you're talking with other people who have the same kind of issues. Being in a group helps to rebuild your identity and foster empowerment. Inside groups, you find that there are people who are natural born leaders and some people who are leaders are created leaders. They may not come by it naturally, but when you're in a group, somebody's got to do it. And you kind of take that on yourself. I know I'm looking at 3 people with aphasia who are leaders in their groups and outside of their groups. And I think that is also enhanced and helped by being in groups. I'm a big proponent of groups, by the way, if you hadn't noticed. I've been a speech pathologist since 1990, and that's probably when I did my first group in 1990, but we've done groups forever. But it also helps you to participate in life activities. I know there's some groups that go on cruises. Becky was talking about the group that just decided they wanted to go out, and they go out. So those are some of the benefits of participating in groups for folks who have aphasia. Can you think of anything else that is a benefit to you in group, or to the people with aphasia in your groups?
I think another thing that's important too is when those different people get together in a group, they're able to spend a little bit more time talking individually, chatting. It might be about sports, it might be about different things. And you don't get that when you're online sometimes. It's sticking to the agenda or whatever. And to me, having those people with aphasia form that bond, form that socialization, and that they look forward to coming every week, and they know this is their place, this is their space, they get to make it what they want it to be, and they feel safe here, and they look forward to coming. It's purposeful, meaningful, getting up in the morning and knowing what I have, and this is my time. I think that has given them so much confidence, that this is for me, this is what I have today. Yeah. So
Well, when I was at the university here in Tampa, at one point, all of our sessions were free, like they are at Maryville. We had free individual and free group sessions, and then something changed and we became insurance-based. And I remember that summer, we wound up running 16 different groups. All of the speech pathologists and the adult side, we ran groups because we wanted to make sure everybody was being taken care of as far as their communication needs and their opportunity to practice. So that happened, and it was interesting because we had 16 groups, and they were all different. They were all different focus, all different things that we were doing. So in the chat, I did put some of the benefits of aphasia groups for people with aphasia. Now I'm putting benefits of aphasia groups for caregivers and care partners. And Becky, you can kind of tell me if as a care partner, if you have the same feelings and or if you've noticed any others. Peer support, if you are a care partner, it's always great to know that you're not alone, that there are other people who have gone through it, that there are people who can share their experiences and the resources, and kind of give you some validation for the burden that you carry. A lot of people ignore the burden to the caregiver and the care partner. It's not easy. And we want to keep our care partners as healthy as possible. And sometimes that's a challenge. But it's always better if you have other people who can share their experiences. You'll get an improved understanding of aphasia. I don't think that there is any group that I've ever been in where there was not some discussion of what aphasia is. And I think that's something that I think everybody here would kind of agree that until it hit you, you might not have even heard of the word aphasia before.
Yep.
It's always good to have that improved understanding and to learn some strategies for supporting and communicating with your person at home. It kind of helps for caregivers to reduce the stress and burnout levels because you have time for socialization, and it gives you a little bit of respite. If your person is in their session, then you can meet with the other caregivers and have a little cup of coffee and cross your legs for a minute, and that's always good. the caregivers will get some strengthening of relationships, and it kind of helps you maintain your role as the spouse or the child of, and you're not just the caregiver. It kind of helps you return to your role as the human being that you are. And again, you get access to resources so that you can share information about the community supports and help build confidence in even navigating the healthcare system in your area. Starting a group is not easy. There are things like location, finding a board of board of directors and things like that. Becky, I know you are on the board for ACC. How did you become involved with ACC to the point of being a board member?
This group here started from a support group that had been going on for like more than 10 years. And they had a vision to start an aphasia center. And Rick and I just happened to get a stroke at the same time. Rick did and joined. And I was hesitant at first at being a board member because I didn't know what aphasia was. I needed to learn, and I needed to get myself acclimated and get a handle on it. But the more I learned, the more I wanted to be a part of it. And we started out very small. We found a church that would let us use their hall one day a month. And we had volunteers, and we were so excited that we had that program one day a month. And we were thrilled. And then COVID hit, and so then we had to go to the online. And then coming out of COVID, we needed to get back and see people. And we started very small again. We had the opportunity to use an old Sunday school room that wasn't being used, and our church was more than willing to give us very, very cheap rent. And we renovated it ourselves and wrote grants, and again, started out very, very small with a lot of elbow grease and a lot of volunteers. And we've just been blessed in writing lots of grants, and we've grown, like I said, to 17 classes a month now and 2 rooms. So, but that's been 7 years. Yeah, so it doesn't happen overnight, but if you have the passion and you have the people that want to work together, and those members saw what was happening, they were right there, cleaning and doing things and promoting, and once they saw what was happening, they, it just mushroomed. Yeah.
And when you are doing something like an aphasia group in an area where people see it and can appreciate it, it tends to grow on its own. Not on its own, because I know it takes some fundraising and other efforts, but the interest will grow.
Right, because people say, "What's that room? And what are you doing over there?"
And what is aphasia?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we're gonna close. Any other comments? Phil, Carol, Trish, do you have any closing thoughts as we wind this up?
I go ahead.
So the important I want to do it. So is hard. The training is the
Beyond Stillness.
Beyond Stillness is the program that teach. So
that's the program that that trains facilitators. Is that what you're saying? Okay, that is one of the programs, and there are others, but and as I said, that even with training, some people have no business trying to do it, because it is multi-layered. So it can be very challenging, but you're right. There are some programs that you can access to find facilitating techniques. Carol, Phil, do you have any closing comments before we finish?
I tell anyone, what platform you use, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, put the word out.
Put the word out.
No matter what.
Excellent, Phil.
Yeah.
That's why we call you Aphasia Phil. And get your
Even
swag
when you
so
go
you're
to
wearing
the
it.
store.
What were you saying, Carol?
Even when you go to the store, I like
Yes.
I have aphasia. Give me a minute, and I get yeah, and they'll ask a lot of time, what are you talking about? And then they'll slow everything down. But yep.
This is a button that I got from Aphasia, National Aphasia Synergy. And it's a button that you can just put on your lapel or on your grocery bag or whatever. And it talks about aphasia and asking people to please be patient. And sometimes that's all you might need. Just have that on.
We have
that
a
might be
new
helpful.
tab. We have a new tab, Cheryl, too, on the new website that has ID cards of all kinds, all different information that people can print off or share. So, that's all free. You can just access that through the website. I am jumping back in to ask some questions because we've been getting some comments in the chat and also in the Q&A. One question that came up actually twice is if any of your experience have been with virtual and in person at the same time, and if so, how did that go? And I will say from my experience, there's a lot of challenges when you have a computer going for some virtual and then in person. So what has been this panel's experience with those?
We have never done both of them at the same time. This was a challenge today.
We have done, when I was at the university, we would have an in-person session and maybe have, I think we did once where we had another group that they were talking to. So we had our in-person folks and another group that was communicating with us. And that was not really too terribly challenging. And we only did that one time. But it is challenging, and it's really challenging when you're also grading students at the same time. When you have that going on and then you have students that you're grading, so it can be challenging.
But like the like 5-person and the Zoom is all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how many are in the group.
Yes.
I've been to one thing, like we're gonna have we usually talk 5 or 4, and now we're gonna have 7 this day or 20 at this day, and it's like I can only do those couple of people. And now it's just chaos in my brain. It's so chaotic.
Yeah, for those who have comprehension difficulties, that's where it really falls in. And it looks like if you look at the chat, there's some great conversation going. In MCAN in Minnesota, they had said they had tried the hybrid format, but that honestly didn't go that well. That was a challenge. People were asking a little bit about it looks like Shirley Ryan Rehab Aphasia Abilities Lab. They do have a lot online still. It looks like people are doing a little bit of both. And to Phil's point, online does not need to be just groups online. It can be connecting with YouTube channels, or I think Phil's going to teach us our first aphasia TikTok dance and we'll make it go viral. Or at least that's my hope, right, Phil?
Oh, okay. Now,
I'd pay money to see that.
I think it's important that we also note there was a question for you, Becky, about fundraising and grant writing. It is, I can speak from experience. I know many people that are on this call can, it's really hard to fundraise for something that nobody knows what it is. And so that's your first hurdle, right?
Right.
And then also finding grants that would align. Do you have just a minute or two to share what you would do?
First of all, your group needs to put you know, a PowerPoint or a presentation ready to go. So if anybody asks you, you can come, you can visit, you can show to them, that kind of thing. I would look within your community at different churches and country clubs. And then I would also look at national organizations like Walmart, Sam's, Costco, Target, Publix, all of those places. As long as you're a not-for-profit already, you have to have that status. Once you have that, those places give out money once a year, those kinds of things.
And might I add too, sororities and fraternities,
Yep.
because a lot of them have a medical base kind of donations, and people don't ask for them, especially ethnic minorities that go to those sororities and fraternities and see if they can help you. They can at least maybe send some volunteers, but they can help you with fundraising, I think.
Yep.
Those are great suggestions. I wish you guys were around 23 years ago when I was sitting on my couch. Similarly, Becky, starting very small with the organization I started here in North Carolina, but we'll see if there is, there was some talk about, let's see, I want to make sure I get all the questions. Kirsten had some suggestions about putting a big screen when you do virtual and in person. That was a great idea. And if you're not, she was talking about if you're not a nonprofit as well. I also want to mention as we close this session out and thank this amazing group of individuals who took the time to share their experiences. Yeah, Cheryl, and an incredible facilitation by you as well, is that the goal of the National Aphasia Association is to be that trunk. You know, we've been around for a long time, the trunk of the tree, but to nurture and support organizations across the country. So that constant communication is necessary. In the last year, we've been able to give out almost $5,000 of support for aphasia centers holding conferences or holding galas. And it's really important to stay in touch with the NAA and to share with other people, because people come here to look and we send them out to you. So as we wrap up this one section on connections, Cheryl, do you want to have any closing statement? And then we're going to move into a little bit of relaxation as we do some yoga.
Well, I would like to thank our panelists for taking the time with us today. And I would like to thank everyone who has been watching and for your questions. We hope we have been helpful. And if you do have any additional questions, you can send a message to the NAA. You can contact me. And most of you have my email address somewhere on some document or another. So thank you very much. And we're going to move into some wellness. Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Thanks again.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.